Bad habits are like a comfortable chair, easy to sit in, hard to get out of. Good habits are like climbing a mountain, hard at first, but the view is worth it. This is the law of life. Bad habits feel good now, but make life harder later. And good habits feel hard now, but make life easier later. The problem is most people choose comfort today without thinking about the pain tomorrow. When I was younger, I had friends who laughed at me for spending time learning English instead of going out with them. They said, "Jack, life is short. Enjoy it now." They slept late, partied often, and avoided hard work. I didn't argue with them, but I noticed something. After 5 years, the people who enjoyed every day were struggling with jobs they didn't like. They had to accept low pay because they had no skills to offer. The fun they had earlier came with a price later. My own life was the opposite. The habits that felt difficult in my 20s. Waking early, practicing reading became the reason I had more freedom and opportunities later. I paid the price early so I could enjoy later. Think of it like farming. If you plant seeds today, you have to water them every day. At first it feels like work with no reward, but after months you have a field full of crops. If you do nothing today because you want to relax, you may enjoy a lazy day. But when harvest season comes, you have nothing. That is exactly how habits work. The pain or effort you put in now is an investment, and the return comes later. The trap with bad habits is that the damage is invisible at first. If you eat unhealthy food for one day, nothing happens. If you skip learning for one day, nothing happens. That's why people think it doesn't matter. But over time, these small choices add up. They are like drops of water filling a jar. One day, the jar overflows and you realize you've built a life you don't like. Not because of one big mistake, but because of small repeated choices. Good habits work the same way, but in the other direction. At first, they seem useless. You go to the gym and see no change. You read a book and don't feel smarter. You save a little money and it looks like nothing. But over time, the results compound. That's why discipline is so important. It's the ability to do what is right even when you can't yet see the reward. I remember when we started Alibaba, our habit was to review our mistakes every single week. It was boring and sometimes painful because we had to face our failures. Other companies didn't bother. They wanted to keep working on exciting new ideas. But over time, our boring habit of reflection made us stronger. We avoided repeating the same mistakes, and that saved us time, money, and energy. Those companies that avoided the hard habit early paid the price later when small mistakes became big problems. Many people wait until life forces them to change their habits, until they get sick, until they lose their job, until they face a crisis. But by then, change is much harder. The best time to build good habits is before you need them. The earlier you start, the bigger the benefit. The longer you wait, the higher the price you will pay. I often tell young people, don't choose what feels good now. Choose what will feel good later. Anyone can enjoy today at the cost of tomorrow. But it takes wisdom to invest today for a better tomorrow. Success is not about how comfortable your life is today. It's about how sustainable your life will be in 10 or 20 years. And the truth is, those who choose the hard habits now will enjoy an easier life later, while those who choose the easy habits now will face a harder life later. So every day you have a choice. Pay now or pay later. Work now or struggle later. Learn now or regret later. You can't escape the price. You can only choose when to pay it. And if you are smart, you will pay early, because the earlier you pay, the more interest you earn in the form of freedom, opportunities, and peace of mind. People think success is a sudden moment. You get a big deal, a big promotion. You become famous overnight, but that's not the truth. Success is like a tree. What you see is the big trunk and branches, but what really holds it up are the roots underground. Those roots are your habits. Talent is like sunlight. It helps. Luck is like rain. It helps too. But without strong roots, the tree will still fall. Habits are the roots of your life. When I was a young man, I was not considered smart. I failed my school exams. I failed my college entrance exams. I failed in job interviews. Even KFC rejected me. If life was about talent and luck only, I should have been a failure forever. But I understood one thing early. Even if I can't control my talent, I can't control my habits. Every morning, I made a habit of reading English newspapers. Not because someone told me to, but because I knew it would help me learn. Every evening, I made a habit of talking to tourists in Hulu to practice English. I was not paid for it and I didn't get instant rewards. But over years, this habit made me different. My English got better. My thinking became more open. I could connect with people from other countries. Those small daily habits open doors that talent alone never could. Many people look at successful people and think they are lucky, but they don't see the boring habits behind the scenes. They don't see the early mornings, the late nights, the hundreds of times they did the same thing over and over until they mastered it. If you only see the fruit and ignore the root, you will never grow your own tree. I've met very talented people in my life. They are smart. They have ideas, but they don't have the habit of following through. They start something and stop halfway. They do things only when they feel motivated, and then they wonder why someone less talented than them goes further. It's because talent without habits is like a car without fuel. It looks nice, but it won't move. Habits work quietly. They don't make noise, but they build your future in the background. Imagine two people starting at the same point. One spends an hour a day learning. The other spends an hour a day scrolling social media. After one day, no difference. After 1 week, still no big difference. But after 1 year, the learner has 365 hours of growth. The other has 365 hours of nothing. After 5 years, one is ahead. So far, the other can't catch up. This is how habits decide your future. Not suddenly, but slowly and then all at once. In business, I see the same pattern. A company with good habits, learning from mistakes, focusing on customers, improving little by little will beat a company that relies only on a big idea but doesn't have discipline. Alibaba didn't grow because we had the best technology in the beginning. We didn't. We grew because we had the habit of improving every day, serving customers better every day, and learning from failure every day over time. Those habits became part of our culture. They became automatic. And when a habit becomes automatic, it becomes part of your identity. You no longer have to force yourself. It becomes who you are. That's why I say habits are more important than talent or luck. Talent can give you a fast start. Luck can give you a big opportunity. But only habits can keep you moving forward. When things get hard, and things will get hard, you will face failures, rejections, delays, and people who don't believe in you. In those moments, talent can't save you. And luck won't show up. Only your habits will keep you going. They are like the strong legs that carry you when you are tired. They are like the map that guides you when you are lost. If you understand this, you will stop chasing quick wins and start building strong habits. You will spend less time worrying about whether you are smart enough or lucky enough and more time making sure your daily actions are building the future you want. Because the truth is, life is a reflection of what you do repeatedly. You are not your dreams. You are not your goals. You are your habits. If you have good habits, your future will take care of itself. If you have bad habits, no amount of talent or luck can save you. When people talk about success, they usually talk about luck, talent, or intelligence. But let me tell you the truth. Success is never a result of luck alone. Success is built brick by brick on something far more powerful and often overlooked: your habits. We become what we repeatedly do. If every day you are improving, even by 1%, after 1 year you will be 37 times better. But if every day you are wasting time making excuses, blaming others, your life will go down the same path, just faster. Habits are like the silent engineers of your destiny. If you want a different life, you have to start by changing your habits. Many people make the mistake of waiting for a big opportunity to change their life. But opportunities are useless if your habits are weak. Imagine giving a high-performance sports car to someone who has never learned to drive. Without the right skills and habits, that car will be wasted or even cause an accident. Life works the same way without good habits. Even the best opportunities will slip away. Changing your habits doesn't mean you need to completely transform your life overnight. In fact, trying to change everything at once usually fails. The secret is to start small, but stay consistent. Waking up just 30 minutes earlier might not sound like much, but it creates space for things you never had time for. Reading, exercising, planning your day. Reading a few pages of a good book every day doesn't seem like a big deal, but after a year, you will have read several books that could open new doors for you. These small actions look unimportant in the moment, but over time they completely reshape your future. When I was younger, my habit of practicing English every day didn't make me rich immediately. For years, it was just a personal routine with no direct reward. But later, that skill allowed me to connect with foreign partners, understand international markets, and build Alibaba's global presence. If I had waited until I needed English, it would have been too late. The habits you build before you need them will save you when the moment comes. The first step to changing your habits is becoming aware of them. Many people live on autopilot. They don't realize how much time they waste on things that give no return. Endless scrolling on their phone, negative thinking, procrastination. If you track your day honestly, you will see where your time and energy go. Once you know your bad habits, you can start replacing them with better ones. The replacement is important. You can't just stop a bad habit and leave an empty space. If you remove watching TV late at night, replace it with reading or learning. If you stop gossiping with colleagues, replace it with meaningful conversations or skill building. Changing habits is not easy because your brain likes comfort. Your current habits, even the bad ones, feel safe because they are familiar. When you start a new habit, your brain resists, not because it's bad for you, but because it's different. This is why most people quit in the first few weeks. The trick is to push through the discomfort long enough for the new habit to feel normal. Once it becomes part of your identity, it's much easier to maintain. I often tell young entrepreneurs, don't aim for dramatic overnight success. Aim for small daily improvements. If you get 1% better every day in 1 year, you will be more than 37 times better. That's the power of compounding. The same principle that makes money grow in investments also makes skills, health, and relationships grow through habits. Every day, you either invest in your future with good habits or take from it with bad habits. When you start changing your habits, people around you might not understand. They may tease you for waking up early, for working when others are relaxing, for avoiding distractions. But remember, you are not living for their approval. You are building your own future. The habits you choose today will decide whether you live with freedom or with regret tomorrow. The most important thing to understand is that habits create momentum. At first, progress feels slow, but as your habits compound, opportunities start appearing. You feel healthier. You think clearer. You have more energy. People stop trusting you because they see your consistency. The world opens up to those who are prepared. And preparation is nothing more than the result of strong habits practiced over time. If you are serious about changing your life, don't just dream about success. Design the habits that will get you there. Choose actions that, if repeated every day, will naturally lead you to the results you want. Stick to them even when it's boring, even when nobody notices, even when it feels like nothing is happening, because one day everything will happen at once, and it will be the result of the habits you built when nobody was watching. Motivation is like the weather. It changes all the time. Some days you wake up feeling like you can conquer the world, and some days you don't even want to get out of bed. If you rely on motivation to get things done, you will be inconsistent. That is why habits are more powerful than motivation. Motivation might get you started, but only habits will keep you going. I have seen many people start something with great energy. They join the gym and buy new clothes for exercise. They open a business and work day and night for the first month. They start learning a language and practice for a few days with excitement. But after the first challenge, when the initial energy disappears, they stop. This is the problem. They depended on how they felt instead of depending on what they had committed to do. Successful people are not those who always feel motivated. They are the ones who show up whether they feel like it or not. When I was building Alibaba, there were many days I felt tired, discouraged, and even hopeless. We faced failures. We lost deals. We had no money. Motivation was nowhere to be found. But my habit was simple. Every morning I met with my team, discussed the day's goals, and started working. It didn't matter if I was in a good mood or a bad mood. The habit kept me moving. Over time, those daily actions built momentum. The results didn't come overnight, but because we kept going, they eventually came. Habits remove the need for constant decision M. If you have to ask yourself every day, should I work on my goal today? Your brain will try to choose the easy answer. But if your habit is fixed, you don't need to ask. You just do it. Like brushing your teeth, you don't wait to feel motivated. You do it because it's part of your life. That's the beauty of consistency. It makes action automatic. Another advantage of habits over motivation is that habits survive bad days. A motivated person may stop when they are tired or stressed, but a person with strong habits will continue even on their worst days. This consistency creates a powerful compounding effect. Think about a small snowball rolling down a hill. If it keeps rolling every day, it gets bigger and bigger. But if it stops, it loses momentum and may never start again. I've also noticed that habits often create motivation, not the other way around. Many people wait until they feel inspired before taking action. But in reality, action creates inspiration. When you start doing the work, you see small progress, and that progress makes you feel motivated to continue. It's like pushing a heavy door. It's hard at first, but once it starts moving, it becomes easier to push. If you wait for the perfect feeling before you act, you might wait forever. In my own life, I still don't always feel motivated to do everything I need to do. There are speeches I give, meetings I attend, decisions I make. Many times I am tired and I would rather rest. But my habit is to prepare, to show up, to deliver. The moment I start, the energy often comes. If I had waited for motivation first, I would have missed countless opportunities. This is why I tell young people build systems, not moods. Systems are the habits and routines that ensure you make progress regardless of how you feel. A writer writes every day, even if the words are not perfect. An athlete trains every day, even if the body feels heavy. A business owner works on the business every day, even if sales are slow. The habit itself becomes a kind of shield against laziness and discouragement. Over time, habits also change your identity. If you run every day, you start to see yourself as a runner. If you study every day, you see yourself as a learner. Once your identity changes, consistency becomes natural. You don't have to force yourself. It's simply who you are, and that is the ultimate strength of habits. They turn discipline into second nature, making success inevitable for those who refuse to.